seen this champion basically be pick or ban here in this tournament. Are we going to see ShowMaker move towards it as the second most played from the LCK this year? And if not, do we see maybe a Xin Zhao, maybe something that allows for Lucid to have a little bit of that playmaking that we got to see from him in their first couple of series?
He was absolutely playmaking. Maybe not going to be able to blind the Lee Sin this time around. He is going to go for the Xin Zhao, so that's going to feel pretty good from a skirmishing perspective for him, although didn't work out on the J4, which I still really liked in that composition, but just a little bit ahead of the team in a lot of those fights.
So Weibo gonna look at their options as a response. In terms of AD carries, obviously we do have the Xayah and the Kai'Sa gone, so things like Corki start to gain a little bit more priority. We also still have things like the Jhin and the Sivir still available for both of our marksmen, although Corki and Alistar seems like that is going to be the pairing here for Light and Crisp.
I like that. It's one of the big ones for Crisp. He's been playing for years. His Alistar is obviously very good. The Corki, still a little flexible, I guess, but Light's definitely going to be okay piloting that one. Could be feeling pretty good from a carry perspective. I do wonder if they just want to go with kind of a meatball comp now moving forward for Weibo.
In terms of junglers, what would they be looking for? I mean, you could go for
the Rumble.
Nocturne. All right, Nocturne or Rumble does make it on through. This would be Siwoo's second most played champion of the year, and Rumble not banned in this series. Very interesting. Obviously, Rumble took a bit of a hit after a couple of those nerfs, but seems like DK are going for kind of stock standard, pretty solid team fighting all around.
I like the Rakan here, though, for BeryL. Some go in, go out kind of styles, as well as a lot of roaming ability earlier on. I would like to see more of that from both supports as well. But I'm personally, I mean, you get the Rumble coming through, but really the kind of team fight aspect from Damwon, or at least Dplus KIA, is going to feel really good. The Lee Sin is logged in for Tian as he slinks back in his chair, too.
Tian's like, no, I don't get to play Lee Sin. Or I get to play Lee Sin. Okay, let's hope he can kind of show off.
Does he use
obviously
the skin?
I don't know.
I don't think he does use the skin very often. I'm pretty sure he uses the dragon one.
Probably has some mixed feelings, especially around being a world champion.
He got MVP, bro. Where's his prestige skin?
He did get MVP. They're coming out with not prestige, but they are doing the secondary chromas.
Yeah.
So,
but you know, Faker gets 2 skins. Come on.
Well, that's what happens when you have 5 world championships.
That's what happens.
We get into the second phase of bans. It seems like Yunara is the focus here. Again, no Lovers Duo available for aiming and BeryL. So, are we going to opt to see more of the things like the Sivir? I think from what they are showing, I don't think that DK have enough crowd control, however. So mid lane is going to be very, very interesting, especially with the Ryze that we were mentioning and the Talia nowhere to be spotted.
It's going to be full focus on the aiming in the second phase as well. The Yunara and the Jhin from Weibo banned away. So trying to figure out what that bot lane matchup, that 2v2 into the Corki would look like as well. Do wonder if DK want to continue focusing on some of these solo lanes, because that's really what's left for Weibo, but which version they want to go with, because I still think, like, you know, the Sion is still there, point and present, if you want to go for like a tankier front line, if you want to set up that wall that we've seen time and time again when the Alistar is already so tanky as well. It does look like it's going to be the Ornn ban by DK.
That's fine. I mean, there's still a Sion in this game, so that's what I'm kind of worried about. If you're Weibo, do you just pick this up? Trying to steal this away from their opponents so they get the Ryze. Good lockdown here. What are we kind of looking at from DK? What do we think that they need coming in from their mid and AD carry?
I mean, they need some kind of carry for mid. We talked about it before. Like, we really need to see these solo lanes kind of step up for DK, and especially ShowMaker. Can't go quietly into this series. He was not quiet whatsoever in their first series as well. So definitely want to see if he has an answer into the Ryze, if it's going to be something along the lines of more of a hyper carry style, as we will end up getting a pretty standoff pick from aiming on the Ezreal, as the Cassiopeia does end up coming through for ShowMaker.
All right, so DK want to opt for range. We're going to get the Rumble versus Cassante matchup here. Weibo with a lot of, I think, point and click ability to start fights. Obviously, Ryze is always going to have that Rune Prison available to him. And Lee Sin can be very explosive. I think early lanes look good here for Weibo Gaming. It's all about whether or not in terms of scaling we can see a little bit more from Dplus KIA.
And I do love that Tian is getting some resources to be a little bit more mechanically focused here on the Lee Sin. His early pathing has always been one of my favorite things from Tian. He does like to go for unique paths as well, and I think that's one way you can really upend.
Yeah, we've been seeing this just across the board, not only in just today's games, when it was Nongshim versus BNK Fearex. We also got some internet issues, but this is going to be the start of game number 2 between the LCK 5th seed and the LPL 6th seed. Can we get a little bit of spice here? Can DK find some avenues back into this series? We're going to Weibo just shut them out and put them back in on the road for the rest of the night. We'll have to see. We're getting a little bit of some spicy invades. Crisp is in no man's land right now. Almost gets invaded upon by the enemy team.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Siwoo.
Uh-oh.
Siwoo, no. He's probably going to have to flash. It is 1:05. He is not going to have flash. He's going to probably either miss out on a large portion of the wave. I wonder, is he going to invest the teleport so early on? And even Light is now getting completely moved off of this wave.
That's actually so detrimental. Let's see if it gets answered. I think one of the biggest things with those kinds of situations, it's always about what happens as an answer to that. As BeryL and aiming, not going to feel super confident to go for that.
All right, Lucid's going to go for an invade. Doesn't get spotted on any wards. It's a red ward from Weibo onto the enemy blue side, but no spotting, no vision. Does Lucid go for Gromp? No, I think he's just going to cross over. He doesn't want to have anything to do with Tian potentially crossing over the river.
So the map state itself is going to be a little bit wonky now. I do wonder how early the vision control is going to matter in this one, but Tian isn't going to know that his blue buff is gone for a little while, so that pathing may be a little bit tricky in the end for him to see if he gets any kind of answer if he wants to go for his own invade whatsoever. But something else that we've seen today is this 2v2, typically something that's a little bit more spicy. I don't think we're going to get as much action as typical in that 2v2 now in this game too.
Yeah, it was also the heal being blown pretty early there from BeryL. Both of our supports opting for the spellbook this time around. And we're getting a little bit of that damage down. Light is taking a fair amount from his counterparts here. With Lucid pathing down, he's going to be not on the same timer here as Tian. So I wonder what Weibo's jungler, what options do we think Lee Sin has here, considering he's going to be basically missing a camp, and does mean that he gets to be a little bit earlier on the map. Oh, Tian. Oh.
Okay. Well, happens to the best of them, as you would say. And Lucid just gets away with a little bit of extra tempo there.
Okay.
He did skip his blue.
That is true. Well, what do we think he has options? Like, can he maybe go for an early gank on bottom side?
I mean,
maybe
I think he's trying to
help Xiaohu mid.
Yeah, I think he's trying to counter, right? I think he's trying to play like a little bit of like rebuttal to what Tian wants to do, because he knows. I mean, we know Lucid loves the Lee Sin. Looked damn good on it last time we saw him, but he knows that Tian needs to be active.
Okay, ward hops away. Tian's going to get to safety. You can just kind of see this is a pretty tough matchup here for Xiaohu, but the ways that you can get around this matchup is either scaling or having Ryze make multiple side lane plays in a row. See, right now it is Crisp trying to find a little bit of work down onto BeryL. It's not going to make that happen. Lucid does get the bottom side scuttle, and it is going to be an invade here from Tian. He's going to see if he can grab the blue buff with help from Xiaohu leaning to him.
That's the combo that really needs to come up again in this game number 2. I know it was pretty quiet in the game number 1 for a long while, but then we finally started seeing the shockwave combos. There's a little 2v2 action on the bot side. Tian's going right back to the well.
All right, level 3 versus level 4. Both of our junglers have smite, but guess what? The laners are starting to get pulled over. It is Lucid who wins this fight. ShowMaker, what else do you got? Is there going to be a grounding slow? No, Tian. Oh, man, that's a full-on conqueror, and that's going to be first kill going over to Lucid.
A little bit of counterplay there, unfortunately, for Tian and for Weibo, and that's going to feel really good from the DK camp as well. And Do wonder if they're going to try to reset, get back down to the bot side of the map, because they will have the dragon coming up too. Xiaohu's looking for a roam play though.
Oh, okay. It's going to be a little bit of time before this happens. Also, Lucid will be in the area for this. It's pretty tough, though. I mean, Aiming doesn't have flash. We didn't see how he lost this summoner spell. They're going to continue the play, though. No eyes on Xiaohu quite yet. A flash knock-up coming in from Crisp. Answered by BeryL in trade. Does he use the barrier? No, at the very end he goes down, but it doesn't matter. Light's going to flash over. He's looking for BeryL. He loses vision of the enemy Rakan. And so it's a 1-for-1 trade coming on through. We're getting a teleport there from Cassiopeia to try to hold down the wave. Siwoo almost gets taken down. Breathe looking for it. Does not have the all-out quite, or he has the all-out pressed, but isn't able to get much more out from the Rumble.
Yeah, the healing, the biscuits coming through for Siwoo is going to give him the difference right there. And honestly, seeing Lucid with 2 kills early, that's terrifying from a Weibo perspective. And he's going to meet Tian right back where they left off in the topside jungle.
Man, got to be very careful because look at the supports right now. It's Rakan that's going to be already in mid. Crisp is as well. By the time he finishes this, however, Tian should already be done with the Gromp. Gets the smite down, so no contest. Also, Siwoo does have to take his recall, teleport back into this wave, so you're seeing a bit of a contest come on through from Weibo. They want to muscle their way into topside, get the scuttle that's going to spawn in a moment, and get themselves ready for a minute and a half before this next objective. Chris flashes forward using the Hex Flash. Some protection there from Dplus KIA will get their jungler out and secure the top side for Weibo.
And it's a little bit crazy in that mid lane. I love how much both teams are really committing bodies to these fights, really bringing everybody together. And I know we didn't talk too much about how the comps kind of come together here, but both of them are excelling at team fighting as we move forward into the game. And so I do expect this to be a game that goes a bit longer, and see if that scaling is really going to come into play.
BeryL is just dead. That's Sonic Wave right onto him. It goes over to Weibo. Xiaohu tries to use the Realm Warp to save his jungler, but DK will answer in kind. A 1-for-1 trade, and it looks like the Dragon is going to be started by the LCK.
Gonna go ahead and get the early objective. I don't think there's any contesting that now. Very close to Tian getting away, but just not enough left on the health bar. That's going to be an early Ocean Dragon going to DK. It's going to give them a little bit more sustainability. Breathe is here.
Yeah, but Breathe is by himself. All Out is going to be up in 3 seconds. He gets the W to push back Lucid. Not quite level 5 yet on the Xin Zhao. That's a kill going over to Xiaohu. So some answers. Breathe is just flashing forward. All Out is made possible. He's going to be able to grab it. Uh-oh. Q3, does it land? Flash from ShowMaker. He got the stun from the ultimate. He's probably going to be able to get himself out, but Weibo, they're going to go for a dive. It's 4 members strong. Siwoo's going to look for something onto light. Valkyrie puts him away. Does he get the burn? No. Oh my god, that's probably a trade. Does Siwoo not go down? No. Guess what? ShowMaker, he's going to fall. BeryL gets locked down. This is a big minion wave that they're fighting in the middle of. Weibo, how much more are we really going to be able to get for the rest of this fight here? Lucid, BeryL trying to walk forward. No ultimates available for them. Xiaohu's looking. Xiaohu's fishing. Ultimate is stopped there. Oh, BeryL can't even get the grand entrance. Weibo are getting a double kill for their jungler, and they're taking everything across the map.
Dude, DK just saw the Shredder running and was like, what happens if I put my hand in there? They literally just got their entire arm chewed off by Weibo.
It's not a cookie jar, it's a Mimic at this time, and the Mimic's teeth are sharp. Aiming's got to be a little bit careful. Thankfully for him, Xiaohu does not have enough mana to do much after that. It was a dragon taken there by Dplus KIA, but they lost 4 kills for that.
That's actually so incredible. And I just had to give a little bit of shout out. We're going to get a replay of it, but the mechanical prowess between ShowMaker and Breathe there in those plays, kind of counteracting each other's predictions, was really fun to see. And Aiming just dashes, flashes, is not going to make it out of the way just yet.
Oh, God. There's the ultimate. Dragon's Rage kick is going to send Aiming to the gray screen. Chris also in a pretty decent flank position if he really wants it, but Aiming thought he had complete control, and this is now going to open up Tian to invade onto the bottom side if he wants it. Xiaohu does have to get a recall in, so not going to end up being the play. Weibo are starting to find an objective win. 1,500 gold up at 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to take a look back at this one because this was the dive that led into the meatball of Weibo, and this is exactly what they drafted for, Alk. They love these kinds of fights. They expertly dived that little setup there, but now on the back end is like, are they just going to stick around and force this play? And then DK just fall right for the bait.
This was beautifully played, by the way. Xiaohu getting the Rune Prison onto BeryL, stops the grand entrance, then he gets headbutt plus pulverize. A great play from Weibo, all things considered. During that, it was 3 grubs going over to Dplus KIA. I don't know how much of a side lane threat they're going to really be able to get done. They've been putting ShowMaker by himself on the bottom side of the map, which has helped be able to maintain some of the gold. But Xiaohu's up 1,000 over his lane opponent, and now Weibo, with almost like a Trinity Force completed here for Light, should be able to get a few more turret plates before they fall in 3.5.
I think some of that map control is kind of curious to me in terms of what we've seen after a lot of these fights, because yes, there's a bit of an advantage for Weibo, but it's not nearly like a giant advantage that they can really run away with the game with, because both teams still do have a lot of options moving forward for them, especially when we have these first items coming up. You're going to have a little bit scaling factor for ShowMaker going for the Roa, and going to have that one completed a little bit later than Xiaohu, but it's still something where both teams can just kind of pump the brakes in the moment. And you got to always remember that DK do have that permanent buff of the 3 grubs. So we see a Realm War play in the bot lane.
Can ShowMaker make it out? Ultimate doesn't land onto too many members, and even if it did, it doesn't matter. Headbutt pulverize, put him into the wall. Lee Sin even finds something in the mid lane. Aiming goes down. That's 2 members of DK Plus just falling, and this is just going to allow for Weibo to just take any of the jungle camps, start focusing in on these waves. I gotta say, Lennon, I'm really impressed with what we're getting from Weibo here in game number 2. I mean, this series alone has been impressive enough. This is just aiming being a little too far forward. Sonic Wave lands, I mean, just issues a ward jump, and that's free kill. Cool, nice.
It's aggressive as hell, and you'll make sure you see it.
There's another one coming on through. Ultimate from Lucid. Crescent Guard's going to buy him a little bit of time in this fight, but guess what? There's a teleport coming in from behind. Siwoo is going to join this fight late as DK are going to look to try to get themselves back into this game. Not able to get that connect onto Xiaohu. He will escape. Breathe now in a 1v4. He's going to slink back under his turret. We have 5 seconds before this dragon starts. Dplus, it seems like their avenue of trying to get back into this game is going to be dragon stacking. Weibo, it is Chris and Tian to be by themselves. Xiaohu still hasn't even recalled quite yet. He is just going to be hoovering up all of these waves right now, and that I think is one way that we could see Weibo start to kind of leverage a pretty massive advantage.
Yeah, DK have opted into more of the objective stacking, giving up waves here and there as Breathe going to take the bait.
Oh, God, that's good vision toggling from our observers there. Breathe does fall. It's a kill going over to aiming, quite simply put. Weibo on the opposite side, though. Xiaohu seeing if he can get himself the last turret plate here.
Kind of try to get as much as he can, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously DK are kind of willing to sacrifice some of these resources to get these together plays, and look at this one.
Oh, all right. Tian's found first. Teleport coming in from Xiaohu, almost level 11 here, and an equalizer that just only rips apart
Chris.
Light. A huge knockup coming in from Chris. Turns the fight for Weibo. They get Lucid. They get BeryL and aiming, and Siwoo just has to die underneath the turret. Chris is going to pick that up, and now Weibo are right back into the driving seat of this game.
Is he Light or is he Shaq? Because he just said the line, I got to put some respect on his game. Chris saves his life. What an incredible play for Weibo to pull back something from nothing. It felt like Tian just gets absolutely blasted in the beginning of that fight, but it did not matter because while the scoreboard is going to be a little bit in favor of Weibo, it's more importantly the 4-0-7 Xiaohu stepping up on a guy that we said from the very beginning, who I said specifically I need to see more from Xiaohu. He has shown out this series so far.
Yeah, there we go. Tian gonna spar a little bit over his Raptor camp. He's gonna make sure that he gets at least most of this one. Crisp is gonna follow up as well. Quickness is used by BeryL to get him out, but those are pretty big buttons now missing for Dplus KIA. 30 seconds before the Herald. And one of the ways that I envision a lot of these team comps, and one of the ways that usually we've seen the Ryze matchup go, is if you're going to pick Ryze, a lot of players are going to pick up the Cassiopeia, but something that Ryze does so much better than the Cassio is just playing on side lanes, being able to make map plays, and he has a pretty decent enough advantage that I think you can kind of get around some of the bad matchup here available for Dplus KIA. Seems like even with them missing out on some abilities, it's going to be them starting this objective up. I mean, Xiaohu's not in this area. It seems like he's just more prioritizing the goal that's on the opposite side.
And this is exactly what Xiaohu does. He's been known as one of the side lane kings in the LPL, and he's showing that here on the Rise. But I do start to wonder, is it enough? Because we said it all along, DK do have good team fighting tools. Tian going to stop Lucid in his back. BeryL also stopped his back just to try to save him.
Oh, crisp. He uses the Hex Tech portals to get himself into a flank position. Lucid, you're just gone, buddy. Don't even bother using the flash at this point. He's trying to Sundered Sky proc his way back into this fight. He gets the Herald, but he's going to lose his life for it. And Weibo are going to continue to spread their influence on this rift.
Dude, this is like the epitome of like classic LPL gameplay. They are just forcing DK into fights left and right. The fights that DK don't even want. But it's been multiple times, especially along the back line and especially along the bot lane when we saw multiple fights going Weibo's way. It's fights that I don't feel like DK need to fight for.
Oh, boy. Good job from Xiaohu as well, getting the Realm Warp to be able to contest on this mid-wave. Dplus KIA, I don't know what happened between their series versus JDG and now, but especially the solo lanes. I feel like Siwoo and ShowMaker are not having good performances here, and while Aiming and BeryL have kind of been the starlights of this team when it came to the middle of the season, it is not turning out well for them. It is Dplus who will now try to force onto this mid turret. I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see BeryL
Tian
use
threw
his
the
ultimate
thumbs up. That feels a little bad as the Rift Herald to get popped in mid lane, but driven down to bots.
Oh, Lucid.
Thumbs up comes up from Lucid too, just barely off of the crash distance. That's gonna feel bad too. As 4,000 gold up is Weibo, it's gonna feel good for them and a dragon in 45 seconds. I think they are at a position that they could fight this. They're on 2 items for a majority of the carries now.
I'm looking at this from Dplus KIA's perspective. I think it's tough. You're trying to see if you can get that finished Seraph's Embrace here for ShowMaker before the next fight. He only has the Lost Chapter and a half-stack tier at this point. Aiming would probably also like to get a Muramana, although it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you can't fight this one, you might lose the dragon, and that might be the last one you see here in this game with how Weibo have controlled the pace of this one. And even though they're standing on wards, almost this entire river is completely dark here for Dplus KIA. So I like the pressure coming in from Breathe. You even see that Tian is focusing, hovering on the bottom side of the map to keep Siwoo away from this play. He's going to put a Sonic Wave down onto the Rumble. It's a flash coming in from them, but a fight breaks out in mid lane. Xiaohu flashes away. The ultimate from ShowMaker lands onto none. Crisp tries to get a knock-up. Lucid goes forward with the winds becomes lightning, and the Crescent Guard guards nothing. Weibo find a huge fight as Breathe go all out and puts DK into the dirt. 2 more kills there for Weibo as they dominate this game number 2.
What did I tell you, Alk? You just got to say the opposite of what you wanted. Baby, we're getting it. Weibo, they show up in this series big time at the last moment when they needed to the most in their final series.
And now it makes the group entirely up in the air. JDG are going to be 1 and 2. Weibo are going to be 1 and 2. I mean, Gam, they might have a chance at being able to do some pretty big work here. We might see a tied up group here later on. Dplus KIA not able to get over the finish line here. 7,000 gold and the 3rd dragon of the game going over to them. We get to take a look at this one more time.
They're going to try to get this engage off, but this is all while Tian was forcing off Siwoo, and then they're just stuck here. Like, so much damage comes down into this little choke point. Lucid tries his damnedest to split the fight, but that's the problem into a Rise and a literal Gatling gun of a Corki is you get up close and personal, and they just gun you down. Your health bar, the shred from the Gatling, is just too damn much.
I just love what we saw from Xiaohu in this game so far. And then the equalizer, fortunately here for Siwoo, not much that he can do. Doesn't even get the minion wave in this trade. Valkyrie over from Light and the shield from Breathe just to protect the AD carry.
Man.
We've had questions about the synergy there from Weibo, but when things are going good, things are going very, very well for this team right now. 19-7 at 20 minutes here. Otacon is going to spawn and Lucid's on the other side of the map. Do we think that Weibo is going to start this up for them? I mean, they don't have priority through mid, but they're already kind of making their way. And remember, this is Hextech Rift, so the Hextech portals are going to help them get around the map a little bit quicker.
And this is what is so frustrating all year long about Weibo is they can look like one of the best teams, and then they can also look like one of the worst.
All right, Otacon's already gone. Lucid has no win, becomes lightning. Great job from Chris. Knocks them away. The equalizer is barely locking anyone down. Siwoo is but a memory in this game. Realm Warp doesn't land. Chris doesn't get sent into the backline, and that might have just been a guardian angel there for Dplus KIA, as it is only one member of them lost, but still the Otacon, and now 42 pedals here for Weibo Gaming.
The unbreakable will not being able to be moved, so he couldn't go through the portal. That's actually too funny. Wow. Really good stuff from Weibo as a whole, though, in terms of how they've come together as a comp. And again, I'm going to opt into talking a little bit more about like why that's so frustrating is because sometimes they look like chickens with their heads cut off. They look like they don't even know how to play League of Legends. And then you see moments like this where the entire comp, the entire team is kind of coming together as well. It brings you those memories of a Weibo team who a majority of this roster were together for those big runs, the finals performances that we've seen.
Let's not bring up Weibo last summer finals.
Yeah.
I'm trying to forget some of those games.
But even like on the world stage, right? Like I think it's just so incredible that we've seen this Weibo team go through so many iterations of a lot of the same members just through over these last couple of years.
Well, we said that Weibo is a team that historically always kind of plays for that world slot at the end of the year. They just didn't know that the Asia Invitational is actually losers' worlds. So this is kind of their comfort zone, if you think about it. Still has Worlds in the title, at least somewhere in the moniker. Kind of see that Dplus KIA are seeing if they can maybe catch out Xiaohu. They're hovering on this side of the map, but no play to be found. The only thing that was going well for them is that they did get an objective bounty from a tier 1 in the bottom side, and that went over majority to ShowMaker. Still only going to barely put a dent into a 3.5 goal deficit in favor of Xiaohu.
It's been a really nice step up from multiple members of Weibo, and I'm going to bring up a point. Okay, well, Breathe is going to get dove here, but the point I was going to bring up is LPL find a little bit of redemption here on today as Breathe need a little bit of help from his team.
Breathe flashes forward, gets himself out. Xiaohu is now able to match. This seems like it is a fight brewing here for Weibo Gaming. Crisp caught out by himself. Unbreakable Will is called forward to get him out of the fight. See that BeryL's trying to look for something. Grand entrance plus the ultimate does absolutely nothing. Chris has to use his flash. The Crescent Guard trying to protect. It is a single bit of HP there for Lucid trying to escape. BeryL falls still. Xiaohu is going to use the Realm Warp. They make a pick onto aiming. Shift away. Flash away. Lucid
Nobody knows.
in Metal Gear Solid. He is trying to hide from Weibo Gaming. ShowMaker is trying to have any kind of impact on this Cassiopeia. He is going to get ran down by Light. Lee Sin is going to find his matching member. There is no Baron, but guess what? That is still a huge win coming in for Weibo. Siwoo tries to get Light, but he is getting protected again. It is Breathe with the shield, with the all-out, and it is again Weibo with another win.
Dude, just put Breathe on Cassante duty and take away Fearless, man. This team would be so good if they could play the same comp over and over. Look at that. The cardboard cutouts even get a little bit of shout out. We don't even need his cams. As a really good play from Weibo to continue bolstering this lead. 10,000 gold up. And we're going to take a look back at the replay. I thought Chris was in a lot of deep doo-doo here. The Unbreakable Will does end up buying a lot of time for him.
But BeryL, man, the visual eye bleach, man. Like, yes, it is a flash from Chris, but BeryL has had a much worse performance as the year has gone by. obviously ended the season with a Rammus support of all time. And,
dude, that's the second time that Xiaohu's Realm Warps gets not taken by his teammates because of their abilities. That's too funny, man.
Yeah. Again, if you're issuing movement commands outside of the Realm Warp, it will not take you, so always got to be staying still if you can when you are in the Realm Warp. This is a huge play, though, from Siwoo trying to make this happen, but if we can't kill a level 14, a level 13 Ezreal, or sorry, a level 13 Corki, we are probably never meant to win this one. It is just desperation here for the LCK 5th seed, as they're just trying anything to get them spelled back in. 10,000 gold lead here at the 25-minute mark, and it's 25-8.
And I know this is going to be hot commodity, but it's a little bit of a throwback because ShowMaker needs to go ahead and start throwing up the copy pasta. You remember all those years ago?
Yeah.
He talked so much about Cassante. I think it's coming back to bite him.
Oh, God. Lucid's just evaporated from our screens right there. Not even the Crescent Guard could have saved him in this play. Siwoo's also on a flank, but guess what? He's also on vision, so little old Rumble's going to have to make his way out of this river. It's going to be the start of the Baron. It is 4v5. No flash on either Aiming, ShowMaker, or Siwoo. Can they make anything happen here? Aiming and BeryL are going to try to look for a little bit of play in the river.
A bit of healing coming in from the Redemption. They're just trying to step up here. The Equalizer's coming down, but Tian's just going to secure it.
Oh, God, yeah, like, this is just complete desperation at this point. DK not able to really contest on the objective. Maybe it'll be Siwoo falling. He is kind of putting himself in harm's way right now. Aiming, shifting forward for a little bit of chip damage down onto Tian. Dragon doesn't spawn for another 3 minutes, and it'll be 2.5 that the Baron buff will be here. All right, Siwoo.
Oh, Siwoo.
How much time can you waste of your opponents? It's an engage down onto Breathe. He has All Out coming out soon. Tian dodges out a Dragon's Rage kick to put ShowMaker into the waiting arms of the rest of Weibo Gaming. Crisp using the heal to get a little bit more. BeryL finally gets an ultimate that maybe we could be proud of, but guess what? It is 26 minutes too late. Siwoo still on the flank, but it is always just to watch the backs of these opponents take down his team.
Dude, Tian is feeling himself. He was the one that kicked off a ton of the fights early on as Xiaohu's going down.
Oh, Seeker's arm guard or the Zonia saves him. Guess what? It's another save. Aiming. See you later, buddy.
Cassante Gaming, as they're going straight to the mid lane. They're going straight for the end, Alk.
They're going to end this one out in only Valakir on Twitter. Only he could see this line. The 1% play coming on through. Weibo with a 2-0. Only Weibo could do these kinds of things.
Only Weibo.
The Weaves are going to be able to win. Another kill on the ShowMaker. And at this point, they are just styling all over their opponents. 31-8. A 16,000 gold lead. And a 2-0 for Weibo here in Group A.
The circle of suck is alive!
Woo!
It lives! Like Frankenstein's monster. My God, what a day. What a day. Weibo Gaming. RKO out of nowhere. Grasshopper ain't got crap on Weibo Gaming.
I hate this team, bro. I hate this team.
But that's what's so frustrating about Weibo. Like, it's incredible the high highs and the low lows this team has. I know we've called them consistently inconsistent since 3 years ago, but it fits so damn well no matter what iteration of this roster there is. And now they 2-0 Dplus KIA.
Yep. That does mean, unfortunately, JDG are no longer able to make it into the knockout stage. Kind of sucks. It does mean that we have a couple of other confirmations. The Vikings with that 0-2 are no longer able to make the knockout stage, so they will have one last game up against B&K FearX to finish that out. We do have our post-match standings if we want to take a look at this. So currently, JDG are locked out. B&K are locked for the top of the group, or at least top 2, so they will make it into the playoffs. And NIP and Nongshim,
Vikings
that's going to be the last ones to decide who makes it on through.
And, God, we have to talk about it one more time. the difference it makes if the Vikings didn't disconnect in front of that fight, if they win that series, it's crazy. But now NIP need to make good on being able to win that one and try to at least commit to promoting here, because they might be one of our only hopes at this point. The fact that JDG is out, though, got to give some commiserations there. It has been a sharp downfall. Yeah, but it's been a year, but they actually were pretty decent throughout the year. This last little stretch has been so heartbreaking to watch. With some of the high highs, with Scouts showing up finally after a year of being missing, it felt like. And just to see it crumble like this feels really bad.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, especially for not just Weibo and JDG. JDG, I think, having a little bit more of the high highs compared to their counterparts who did just win today. But like you were mentioning, I think probably the one that hurt the most was the regional finals. Watching this team completely crumble at the very last hurdle. That's we finally get to go to bed. We finally get to go to bed. Hoping that maybe there was going to be some gameplay here. Dplus KIA get absolutely slapped in the mouth. Dude, I told
you, man. You just have to vote for the opposite of what your heart wants. You have to outwardly say that you want one thing, but you want something else, and it works.
I just don't want to put that energy out there. I'm big into manifesting, so I really don't want to put that energy out there, because then if it happens, then
it's crazy how much it works. It's crazy how much. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
It's crazy how much it works.
Positive energy comes back, rebounds, and this felt more like when we saw the series versus JDG. Even in some of those wins, like I think JDG did play some decent League of Legends in some parts of it, especially the early game. But
agreed.
That game 1 was a stomp from Siwoo and Lucid, and then game 2 was a pretty big throw, if I remember correctly. So unfortunate. What's up?
Take your big brain back for a moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Why didn't that comp work for Dplus KIA today? Because it worked so damn good in that game 1 of the series against JDG. They drafted like almost a exactly same comp in game number 1 of this series, and it didn't work.
So ShowMaker didn't get an individual lead for the most part in that game. I think also it's kind of hard to play when part of your dive strategy with LeBlanc, Jarvan, and the Mbessa. The Mbessa is completely cut out from the rest of this game. We talked about going into draft that if Orianna gets a little bit more HP, it actually becomes a little bit more favored towards her because she has so much healing and shielding, and just you get to basically mitigate a lot of what LeBlanc wants to be able to do. So that became a little bit more problematic, and we saw it multiple times that like Lucid is ulting to lock down the immobile members, but then he has no follow-up, and then you've now wasted some of your abilities. And then game 2, yet again, like, Lucid didn't really get to do much because his top and mid are kind of useless. Like, yes, Cassiopeia is a historical counter versus Ryze, but Ryze being on side lane, he gets to have a little bit more influence. We saw multiple times in this game that Ryze got solo time in bot side, just farming out waves, pushing out a bunch of free gold, and that's how he gets to kind of leapfrog in front of their opponents.
Yeah, and you get to see the end there, Tian getting interviewed. It was Xiaohu who got MVP for that next game. 5 out of 5 vote, too. As, I could agree with that. Was 4 it 4 out of 5? 4 out of 5. Am I crazy? 4 out of 5? Oh, okay, well. Gets a little bit different. But, yeah, I was very proud to see Xiaohu show up. I think that's always somebody for me that needs to be there for the team. You can absolutely feel it when he's not. And he was back to his side lane shenanigans today.
That's the end of our show. This is day number 3, so we're almost halfway through the tournament. We got 2 more days of 3 best of 3s, and tomorrow is the end of the group stage. Do we have any kind of expectations? If we want to throw up the graphic one more time of our group stage games, we don't have quite Group A locked up quite yet, but if you have any predictions...
I'm sad about JDG, but I do expect 2 LPL teams to make it into the into the back half of it. So I do want to see an IP have like a little bit of a better performance and not rely on disconnects to win in the next series, but I think that's maybe asking a lot.
Maybe. Damn, that's crazy though, that we get to see these two teams. And honestly, if everything goes to quote-unquote expectations, we should be seeing only a single LPL representative make it into the playoffs.
No, I see two. I want to see two.
I don't think
NIP are making it, bro. They're making it.
I don't think NIP are beating up on the Dongshin brothers. That is not happening.
That's my hopium, bro. That's my hopium.
Who knows? But that's it.
But now that Weibo won, it upsets my whole like beat down on LPL for Worlds, so that every win matters that much more. But I'll take it. Take a little bit of respect back to LPL.
It is the worst Worlds, right? This is the losers' Worlds, if we want to name it that. But that is the end of our show. That is the end of today. 3 days. Finally, a night where we actually got some closer games. Some upsets here coming on through. It started off with the LCP shocking the world and being able to take down JDG. And we got what was a heartbreaking second series between the Viking eSports team and NIP. And Weibo doing what many thought was impossible and beating up on the 5th seed from the LCK. That is going to be it from myself and Mazel. Thank you to everybody who has been able to watch this show, whether it was only for a single game or for the entire night. This whole show is not possible without viewers like you being along for the ride. From myself, Mazel, Rare Adam behind the scenes, and all of our mod and socials team, we want to thank everybody who has been here. We're going to be exactly the same time tomorrow, so make sure you're tuning in for the last day of group